I believe America dodged not a bullet in the 2016 election, but a political and cultural H-bomb. Evangelicals, especially the subset that George Barna calls sage-cons, spiritually active, governmentally engaged conservatives, many of your listeners and viewers, turned out in record-setting numbers, and they were unified. Now, that's hard to believe that we as evangelicals were unified. 91% of sage-cons, representing 20 million U.S. adults, voted. That was a record. And 94% of them voted for Donald Trump and Mike Pence. By the way, almost every time I see the president, I don't have to remind him that evangelicals were the margin of his victory. He reminds me that evangelicals voted for him and they love him. And by the way, we have a lot to be thankful for this president's leadership, and we need to pray for him on a daily basis. You know, evangelicals in this last election understood what was at stake, and they voted. But the election was not the end of our responsibility, but rather it was the beginning of our opportunity. First by acting upon it, but also by preserving it. We need to preserve it by communicating to those who look to and listen to us about what is really happening. We have to counter the narrative of the fake news. And folks, fake news is real. I've been in conversations and meetings with this administration which somehow got into the media based upon, quote, their sources, which were not only inaccurate, but if I didn't know better, I would think they were intentionally misleading. Because of the importance of the evangelical voter, there is an intense effort by the left to suppress their turnout in the upcoming elections by dampening the enthusiasm of conservative voters. If they succeed, and your listeners and viewers get discouraged and they stay home in the midterm elections, let me tell you, the reform is over. The restoration of religious freedom and the freedom of speech will end. Nancy Pelosi needs just 24 seats to switch from Republican to Democratic control to retake the gavel of the House. In every midterm election since the Civil War, the president's party has lost on average 32 seats in the House and 2 in the Senate. There are more than 40 Republicans that have or will announce that they are retiring from Congress. If conservatives, and in particular evangelical voters, do not turn out, it will happen. And one of the first orders of business of a Nancy Pelosi-controlled Congress will be to impeach President Trump. Now, they most likely will not succeed in removing him from office, but they will most likely succeed in stopping what this administration is doing.